Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. Today is not going to be a movie review. I thought that I'm going to shape up my channel a little bit by doing something a bit different and going back to my top 10 lists. Now I used to do top 10s in the past, but they have been few and far between lately, which I do apologise. But I've got a few ideas for future top 10s, so they're going to be more frequent. So hopefully this video proves something useful for you. And today we're going to start off with found footage horror films. Now found footage is not for everybody. If you don't like found footage, then I'm sorry, this video is not really going to appeal to you, but hopefully in the future there is going to be something of a top 10 that is going to be more suitable. But for those of you who are like myself who love found footage, then hopefully this video provides something, some movies that you may not have heard of. So I did this list quite a few years ago, but since then it has changed quite considerably, so it's going to provide something new. So if you guys want to drop your comments as to whether or not you like my top 10 or what movies you believe should be in my top 10, then please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. So I'm going to get straight into it. To prevent this video from being too long, we're going to go from number 10 up into the best film to number 1. So number 10 we're going to go to REC 2. REC 2 is a continuation of the REC franchise from the brilliant first REC film. I think this movie maintains that level of intensity and also has a little bit of a twist. Now I know a lot of people didn't like the twist, but I really liked it because it gave it something a bit different. But it always realises what it is to be a REC film, and that's unfortunately what I think is lacking in number 3 and 4, but REC 2 was a fantastic sequel and I think it belongs in anyone's top 10. So that's number 10, REC 2. Next up at number 9 we have VHS 2. Now this is a very recognisable franchise, the VHS franchise, where it's kind of like an anthology of films that have been put together. Number 1 was okay, number 3 was absolutely pathetic, but number 2 is definitely the standout in this franchise. I really liked it. I thought all the stories really clicked together very well. It was very violent, very scary. There was one segment in particular called Safe Haven, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, and it really is the standout. As I said, the others weren't very good at all. And so VHS 2 is definitely one that I really appreciated, and that's why it's at my number 9. Number 8, we have a very unknown film, a movie that's very underrated and I thought was very creepy, and that is called Creep. Now Creep is about this weirdo who wants his life documented. He's dying from cancer and he's not going to be able to see his son being born. So he wants his son to remember him, so he pays this guy to make a little documentary about him, and this is where things start to get very creepy. So it's a very slow burn film, very psychological film. I thought Mark Duplass as the weird guy was absolutely fantastic, and it always has that sense of dread and anticipation that really adds up to a very shocking climax. So that's number 8, Creep, very underrated, go out there and see it. Number 7, we have another very underrated horror film. I know a lot of people didn't like this one, but I really appreciate it, and that's The Houses That October Built. This is about thrill seekers who are going to haunted houses wanting the ultimate scare, and they actually find that ultimate scare, which proves to be a lot more stronger than they could ever imagine. So this is one of the most creepy films I've ever seen. It just had a very creepy sort of unhinged atmosphere straight from the first scene up into the last scene. Thought it was very consistent. Once again, another very slow burn film, but it's horror done right, and I really enjoyed what The Houses of October delivered, and that's why it gets my number 7. At number 6 we have another underrated film, and I think this movie it was very slow and it was very tense, but it was actually really impressively done, and that is The Conspiracy. This is about the Illuminati. This is about conspiracy theories. A group of people want to document this guy's disappearance. They believe it has something to do with the government, and it turns out that the government aren't quite who they say they are. And so it unlocks a lot of these paranoid sort of delusions that a lot of people have, and it just gives you that creepiness that, as I said, a lot of other films are lacking. So these last 3 films have been, as I said, movies that really creep you out as opposed to actually seeing something. So The Conspiracy at number 6 definitely comes recommended. Number 5, we have a movie that will really play on your paranoia as far as disease is concerned, and this is The Bay. This is fantastic, it's gory, and the sheer panic of these people is translated through the screen absolutely fantastically well. When you've got a day and age where everyone's worried about the Zika virus or Ebola, all these things that are striking the world in today's society, when the movie like The Bay comes along, it'll really play on those paranoia, and I loved every minute of The Bay, and I think it's definitely, again, one of the most underrated found footage horror films out there. Doesn't try too hard, but it really does pack a punch. That's number 5, The Bay. At number 4, We have a very, very hard film to watch. Now, this is a movie that didn't really get released. I don't think it even got a theatrical release, which is a great shame, but it's one of the most disturbing movies I've ever come across, and that is the Poughkeepsie Tapes. This is a movie about a serial killer. No one can get close to him. He's incredibly intelligent. He's kidnapping all these people, and there is one scene in particular at the end that was truly shocking. It's not a movie that relies on gore, it just has that overwhelming sense of dirtiness to it, and I just think it was absolutely fantastic, and it's an absolute crime that this movie hasn't got a wide release, because it's one of the most shockingly real and disturbing films you will ever see. So if you like serial killer films, Poughkeepsie Tapes is definitely one that I would highly recommend. At number 3, we have REC. Now this is the original. REC 2 was fantastic, but REC really set the standard as far as fast-paced action sort of horror films are concerned. It is balls to the wall. You feel the tension, you feel all the panic that these characters are feeling, and it's definitely one of the best foreign horror films that is made, in my opinion. So REC is definitely one that is compulsory. It's essential to have REC in any top 10, and that's why it gets my number 3. At number 2, we have the good old-fashioned Blair Witch Project. Now, who can doubt this film as being one of the most terrifying films of all time? It was subtle, it was realistic. A lot of people actually believe this was a real film, so it just shows you how well it was done, and the marketing behind it, saying that it was real, and it fooled everybody, and it fooled me when I first watched. I thought it was real, and that's how realistically it's portrayed. And so this movie was absolutely incredible, and it belongs as it deserves its reputation it has, and it belongs in anyone's top 10. So that is number 2, Blair Witch. And then that comes to our ultimate film that I believe is the best. This is by far not necessarily the scariest, but the most entertaining, and that is the Norwegian film Trollhunter. I love this movie. I love the mythology behind it. I love the characters. It was very light-hearted. It was adventurous. It was scary, and it just had absolutely fantastic special effects. It's everything you want from a good old-fashioned, thrilling found-footage horror film. It's a movie that the whole family can enjoy. It's clean, but at the same time, it has enough thrills to really please the more hardened found footage horror fans. So that's number 1, Trollhunter. Go out there and see it. I absolutely love this movie. Alright guys, that's it for my top 10. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully a few new movies there for you to go and watch. As I said, if you have a few movies that you want to include, please feel free to let me know. But until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.